Oh, is that the running? It's about to go on? Okay.
1 second.
All right.
1 second.
We'll wait for you, Teal, Don, Carlton. Where's Sue Slauson? Okay, Crystal. All right, Joe's going to just give us.
We're awaiting the news conference for Mayor Cherelle Parker. Since the last snowstorm, a lot of people have been talking about the roads, the efficiency of the crews getting out there, clearing the neighborhoods. And in advance of this snowstorm, Mayor Cherelle Parker talked about the number of people and crews she would have responding to the snowstorm.
The teacher called. You hear him messing with me, Commissioner? Oh, boy. Let me start by saying good afternoon to each of you. I'm joined today by several of our stakeholders that include Director Carlton Williams, who is the leader of Philadelphia's snow removal operations, our Deputy Managing Director, Don Morales, who does an amazing job leading all of our emergency services, Sue Slauson, our Parks and Recreation Commissioner, Crystal Jacob Shipman, our Sanitation Commissioner, and Scott Sauer, our very valuable partner and leader at SEPTA. In addition to that, our Managing Director, Adam Teal, I saw him somewhere. He was giving me some instructions. Thank you. You know, I like my country. I need you close by, right? Good afternoon, Philadelphia. A significant winter storm remains underway across our region. Blowing and drifting snow will remain a challenge throughout the day, even after the snowfall tapers off. And as I was traveling throughout the city in some areas, you can literally see that it is totally stopped. So travel is very difficult, and in some areas, it is nearly impossible this afternoon. So again, for those who do not have to travel and drive, we encourage you to stay inside. As of 7 a.m., the National Weather Service reported 13.7 inches of snow at the Philadelphia International Airport. At our Emergency Operations Center, we've recorded more than 11 inches. So this is a major snowstorm, and our One Philly response is fully activated. More than 1,000 personnel and over 800 trucks and pieces of equipment, they are mobilized across the city. What does that include? And I thank you, Director Williams, for making sure that I could put a piece of equipment with the name, so now I know what it is when I'm looking at it. Those pieces of equipment include the large triaxle plows, the sanitation trucks mounted with plows, the pickup trucks, and then smaller equipment for narrow streets. So we are using every tool. When people say, what does the One Philly response mean? It means that we use every tool available to keep Philadelphia moving forward. So we continue at this time to urge residents to avoid, and I really do mean this, when there are fewer cars on the street, we give our crews more flexibility to do the job that we are asking them to do. So please avoid unnecessary travel and give our crews the space they need to treat the more than 2,500 miles of roadway citywide. Director Williams is going to share with you more about those details shortly, including the technology that we are using to track progress and provide real-time transparency to residents, because instead of us communicating to you, we've been in this area, we've touched this street, Philadelphia, it's important to me that we empower the tool of transparency so that you have a vehicle to check and see whether or not the city has started a removal process in your neighborhood. So earlier today, I toured our snow fighting operations in Andorra, Roxborough, and Manayunk. So I had an opportunity to see the work firsthand. I was a navigator with Herb, so that was good. He was showing me the ropes, from our largest plows to our smaller pippins, clearing tight blocks, and those corners. Our teams are working around the clock, and I want them to know that we are grateful. If you have not seen a plow on your block, you will very soon. We are also monitoring the impacts of this storm, including strong wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour that may cause additional power outages and/or tree damage. We, the city of Philadelphia proper, we have already responded to 47 unique tree emergencies, and that number continues to grow. Our Parks and Rec Commissioner, Sue Slauson, she will give further details shortly. But again, please stay home if you don't absolutely, need to travel today. Next, Philadelphia. Protecting vulnerable residents remains a core priority. Overnight, people have asked us this question: how many people have we had to ensure that they had, safe and warm shelter? More than 250 individuals stay in 5 city warming centers. And due to the storm's intensity, we have elevated to an enhanced code blue to expand staffing and to ensure that centers remain open, with the ability to add additional sites if needed. So if anyone asks you, does the city of Philadelphia have capacity? Are we prepared? More than enough capacity, and we are prepared to add additional sites if they are necessary. And our Director of Emergency Management, Adam, is going to provide more details shortly. We are also monitoring other city services, including at our Philadelphia International Airport, where more than 600 flights have been canceled. I do want to state for the record that the city of Philadelphia proper does not determine whether or not flights are canceled. You don't have that power, and you don't make that decision. So we don't. It's more than 600 flights have been canceled. Make sure you continue to monitor the websites of the particular airlines that you are scheduled to travel with, because they are changing about a minute. While some departures have paused, we are proud to report that the airport itself remains open and operational. So departures are paused, but the airport itself, it is open and it is operational. Airlines are working to resume limited services around 2 p.m. Today, and passengers should again check directly with their airline before heading to the airport. Across our departments, we are actively working to ascertain the current conditions and determine when and if our snow emergency will end, and if normal city operations, schools, and other services will resume Tuesday. It is too early right now for us to make that determination. We will not be in a position to do that until later on this evening, so we want you to continue monitoring our city's website. We are aiming, and this is our goal, Philadelphia, we are aiming to update you via a press release that we will post on social media by 6 p.m. this evening. So remember, when we first made this announcement, we worked in our sort of one Philly capacity. We were able to tell you that the city of Philadelphia proper would be closed. School District of Philadelphia would be virtual. Our first judicial district, and we thank our partners there, they were closed today. We will give you that update. It is our intention to deliver that message at 6 p.m. Of this evening. And before I hand this over, I do want to say a special thank you to every city employee who is a part of this snow response effort, especially our streets and our sanitation crews, our Office of Homeless Services teams, our emergency operations staff, all of our first responders and all of the departments. They are definitely embodying the One Philly approach, and that does include all of the contractors who we have on the street who are working to help us. We don't own all of this equipment. We do have to contract out some of those services, and that's what a One Philly approach means. We will use every tool in the toolbox to make sure that our city is safe and that you are able to travel by bus, by car, by walking. We're now taking a very close look at it, and this is what Director Williams and I just saw with Herb as we were traveling down Ridge Avenue and through Andorra. It's very important that we monitor those crosswalks. So, you know, when you think about someone who is in a wheelchair, we need to ensure that those ADA ramps, that they are accessible. And as good as you are in that truck, in those vehicles, and now I'm talking about our workforce, I did visually see that there are some places and spaces where I don't think you can avoid the laborious part, like a machine can't do it. That is why we needed to make sure we had the workforce that could get out there and actually do the shoveling directly. But what I'm really pleased about Philadelphia, and that is to inform you that as mayor of this city, our response is united, it is coordinated, and it is focused on public safety, and we are doing it in a way to ensure that every neighborhood in the priority response that the subject matter experts have deemed essential, we are getting there. So now I want to turn it over to Director Williams, and I want to say a special thank you. We started this morning, our first briefing was with labor and all of our contractors. Next, we talked to all of our elected officials at the local, state, and federal level. Special thanks to Council President Kenyatta Johnson, all members of council. Our legislative leaders were there. Speaker McClinton, Jordan Harris, our appropriations chair in the Senate, Vincent Hughes. I also saw Senator Pecosi, and then all of our representatives at the federal level to make sure that we are all distributing the same information. During the last presser, a young lady asked me, I can't remember what network she was from, but she said, "What have you learned?" And one of the most valuable things that I've learned from the first storm is that the city of Philadelphia does not have the ability to counter immediately in real time any misinformation that is disseminated on social media. For example, and it looked real. It looked like this message was from the city of Philadelphia. And Diamond gave a list of all of these different corners that you could go to pick up salt. And it said we were giving away salt. And I'm saying I'm having a nightmare because they're telling me our barge is stuck, you know, on a ship in the river, and they're saying that we're giving out free salt. So make sure you're getting your information directly from us, and our elected officials have been helping us to disseminate that information, and that's what a One Philly response looks like. I'm going to turn it over to our director, Carlton Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Always want to acknowledge your leadership and really enjoyed showing you the operation today and some of the challenges that we face. This is one of our more challenging sections of the city. Hill routes, tight streets, cars that are tightly parked on in near corners make it very difficult for our crews. And I do want to echo what Mayor Parker just stated. I want to special thanks to all of our hardworking men and women in the city of Philadelphia who has helped us throughout not only this storm, but the entire winter, which has been very challenging for the city of Philadelphia and across the country. I want to give you an update and also show you what the public also sees in terms of the progress that we've made so far. Some of the things I'll start with is the overnight operations. So we worked in a full deployment status starting yesterday at 1 p.m. Commissioner Del Rossi and her team, along with Commissioner Shipman, has done an excellent job assembling our crews, getting ahead of the storm. That was very important to us because we were working in blizzard-like conditions. Each storm has its challenges, and I stated that before. The last storm, it was the temperatures. This storm was the blizzard conditions that we had to navigate through those streets, and they continued the progress that we've made. you're going to hear about that from Deputy Managing Director Don Morales to talk about some of those conditions, but that was one of the challenges that we had to face last evening. To date, at this moment, we've treated approximately 65% of all streets throughout the city of Philadelphia. And what does that mean? Streets have been either plowed, salted, or lifted, or with different types of equipment and devices throughout the city. The latter part of the 30% represents the tighter, small, tertiary streets that we have to get to with that amount of equipment that Mayor Parker just highlighted, and ultimately that is a very comprehensive process. So it does take us time to move that much equipment, to grid that much areas. So the message for today, again, to our residents is patience. We're coming. We have not forgotten about you. We're still going to be able to address those areas, and we're doing a great job making the progress on those areas. I'll give you a demonstration after I complete the important messages that we want the public to hear, and to show you how you can track in real time where we are in terms of the progress of our program. And this is open to every resident in the city of Philadelphia who wants this information, that you can see if their street has been plowed or not. And then the next steps we'll talk about reporting that information to 311 after the operation has conceded, so that we can make sure that any block that was missed, we will make sure that it is addressed ASAP. We use multiple pieces of equipment, and we were very innovative. Last storm, we used one melter. This time, we brought in 3. 2 of them are fully operational right now. 1 of them, we're still getting up to par. They're located throughout the city of Philadelphia because, quite frankly, from the last storm, we are running out of places to place snow. So we needed to be able to put it in a location where it doesn't have to sit in someone's neighborhood. It certainly doesn't have to sit in our parks. I know Commissioner Slauson is happy to hear that, along with Deputy Commissioner Susan Buck. We want to make sure that we try to get rid of those spaces, but thank you for lending that opportunity in that emergency situation. I needed to acknowledge that as well. Just because our streets have been treated doesn't mean we're finished. We still have to continue the operation, so we're not done yet. The snow emergency is still in effect, and so a reminder, I know Commissioner Bethel will remind you as well, that parking along snow emergency routes, your car will be towed. We want to make sure that we push back snow as much as possible so that we can open up lanes for safety, especially from our EMS personnel, our police officers, and our firefighters, and all other emergency services that we provide. At the height of the storm, as Mayor Parker stated, we had over 800 pieces, and that number is still continuously growing, because we want to make sure that we address those curb cuts and those ramps that Mayor talked about. That is the next phase of the operation to include all SEPTA transit stops, ADA ramps, places around schools, and I know our school district is here as well to support us. We've been working hard all the night and coordinating with them as well in a governmental way to make sure that our school children, when they are scheduled to return back to work, have safe access to cross streets, not only around the school, but in the surrounding community and neighborhood. So we will be using emergency workforce personnel to be able to assist that. They are within our department, but we know we're going to need more. And so we will continue to use our community partners to be able to help in that operation. So our same-day work and pay program, who has done an excellent job removing ramps, clearing bike lanes, doing all of the things that we need to do, along with our future track and district residential cleaning programs, we will continue to focus on those areas so that all pedestrians and motorists will have safe and accessible walkways. I just want to send out a few reminders about other services that were impacted by our operation. Trash and recycling has been suspended for Monday and Tuesday. It's on a 2-day delay, and so Monday and Tuesday will be picked up Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday will be picked up Friday and Saturday, and Friday will be picked up on Sunday. A word of caution, as Commissioner Shipman will have me to remind you, that the challenges that you face crossing these large piles with this amount of snow are the same challenges our sanitation workers have to deal with when trying to pick up your trash. Please give a little leniency. Please give a little courtesy, and certainly understand that we're doing the best job that we possibly can to get your trash up as quickly as possible. There will be no driveway collections. They are suspended for this week for obvious reasons. Those are not plowed locations, and we can't get our sanitation vehicles down there, they get stuck, trash is then belayed, and then we have to try to figure out how to continue to service that route. So please make sure that you bring your trash out front. You can hold it or you can take it to a drop-off center. So those are the three options that you can use as well. The last thing that I would like to remind people is just the reminders that we often give the public. We talked about the patients. We talked about we're still in a snow emergency, so if you don't have to leave out your home, please don't. If you do, drive very carefully, obey the speed limits that have been set to make sure that you and other people remain safe. Also, if you're digging out, as we saw so many people today, please don't throw it into the street because that slows down our operation. But we understand that, people are digging out today, so do it carefully and make sure you protect yourself as you're in those situations. You're reminded that after this snowstorm is concluded, that you must clear your walkway 36 inches pathway so that people can get through those areas. The city of Philadelphia does not do private sidewalks. We will assist with ADA ramps, but private sidewalks are responsibilities of the property owner. Now, many people want to know when they can call 311. The operation is continuing. And the reason why we delay putting those responses in, because we're still treating areas around the city of Philadelphia. If we overload the 311 system with complaints that we would normally get to and haven't gotten to because of the operation, then we have to go back, and that makes us slow down and it's inefficient. And so we hold off on those complaints until the operation is substantially completed. We will open up the call center, and we can ultimately begin to service those complaints where we have problematic locations. People also want to know about, when has my street been plowed and how often has it been plowed in certain locations. I'm about to give you a very quick demonstration of what the public utilizes. My Deputy Director of, there he is, Data and Support Services, Mike Matella, created this platform called Street Smart PHL. So Street Smart, and I'm going to continue to use the mic so that you can hear. And if I have the leverage to turn, because I do need to turn and talk about it. And forgive me in terms of the areas. So what you're looking at is a map of the entire city of Philadelphia and the routes that we service. The blue lines represent when a plow has gone through a specific neighborhood. There's a color legend to the left that shows when the last time a plow has touched a specific street in the community in the city of Philadelphia. So you'll see, if you zoom in closer, Mike, you'll see a dark blue lines, you'll see light blue lines, you'll see dotted lines. Those all have significant meanings because that tells you the last time a street has been touched, plowed, or actually haven't been going through that area at all. This data is very important to us. Obviously, we can redirect crews and resources to locations where we don't see that things have been touched, but ultimately we can go through the entire city of Philadelphia and see where our plows have been. So I'm going to ask Michael to turn on and click on a grid. So once you click on a specific location, the data is loading. Give us a second because these are a lot of data points that come up. It will load quickly. So give us 1 second. It'll show when you click on one of those areas. Here we go here. And click, there it is. So this is the information that you will receive when you actually click on your block. It tells you the date, the time, when it's been treated, and ultimately, remember I told you some of the blocks we needed to do multiple times. It will tell you the history of the times that we came through that area. So Mike, if you hit next, it'll tell you to see the times change. We was there 9:17 p.m., hitting another block, 11:49 a.m., and you hit it one more time. I think it was at the end. I'm sorry, that was the end. So this data is so important to us because it allows us to be able to track the progress that we are doing throughout the city of Philadelphia. We keep this on so that people can see the data and the work that we've done. Mayor Parker is very big on transparency. She wants the public to see where we are at all times and be able to have confidence in our ability to get the work done. So again, please be patient and thank all of the workers for all of their dedication. We'll continue throughout the storm. I'd like to now introduce Dominic Morales, our Deputy Managing Director for the Office of Emergency Management. Thank you. I'm sorry, I took one more sheet.
Thank you, Director. You're welcome. Madam Mayor, I want to say first, thank you for making sure that we've had every possible resource, and I want to continue the thanks to start off. We as a city are in at least day 5 of preparing and now responding to this storm, because of course we started preparations, the team's mounting trucks, the team's checking supplies, scheduling, and all of the things that happened before a storm. So about day 5. And the folks who you've seen in front of the cameras are a part of that story. And so, you know, when we think about the full storm response, it's important that we call out facility managers from our Department of Public Property, correctional officers, firefighters, EMS professionals, 911 call takers and dispatchers, of course our police officers, but social workers and public health workers, our IT professionals who are making sure all of our systems work throughout around the clock, our communication staff who are updating websites and pushing out releases, and so many more. And in a special way, of course, I'd like to acknowledge the small but mighty team at the Office of Emergency Management who's been activating the Emergency Operations Center to make sure that all of this stays integrated. A little bit about the progress of the storm. Thankfully, we're starting to see that taper off. We've had 2 briefings so far today, both with the National Weather Service and also with our private contractor for meteorology, excuse me. And we're seeing those storms start to taper off, the snowfall at least, but it's still windy. We can report, as Madam Mayor has said, really ranges of snow between that 10 to 15 inches across the city. Of course, at PHL, we heard early this morning it was at 13.7. We'll look for an update this afternoon. The city's EOC was just over 11. And my wife and kids in Northeast Philly were very excited to call me just before this to say 14 inches at home, ma'am.
Oh,
14 at home, yes. So they're enjoying their snow day. But while the snow is largely ending, there's still the story of wind and the story of freezing temperatures tonight. And so by no means, you know, is the storm over. The response and really the recovery, the cleanup will continue. And some of those hazards remain as well, which we'll talk about in a second. But to reiterate, we are still in a snow emergency until you hear officially from the city of Philadelphia, through Ready Philadelphia, or through the city's website, or through the social media accounts, we are in a snow emergency. The city's Emergency Operations Center remains activated. To give you a little bit of an insight as to what the EOC has been doing, by and large, you know, we talked about the heavy wet snow, and we talked about the winds, and we planned for, based off of that forecast, the possibility of things like down trees or tree emergencies, limbs, and down wires. And there has been significant coordination and response on the tree emergencies from our Parks and Recreation Department, and on the tanglement of wires and communication lines through all of that, of course, with our partners at PECO, Comcast, and all of the other infrastructure partners that may own some of that. But it can get complicated pretty quickly to just get that off the side of the road. We've got the reports. Some of that, unfortunately, has come down on private vehicles, so we're responding to all of those things where we get access to and in a prioritized way. The other side of the work has been caring for the most vulnerable. As Madam Mayor has said, we were looking at a storm on Friday that was calling for 2 to 5 inches of snow. So we had one plan coming into this weekend. Saturday that changed. Sunday morning that changed. And with that forecast, the city pivoted to get those 5+ warming centers activated no later than 9 p.m. last night. You heard more than 250 people who were welcomed into that space, in addition to the increased shelter beds that are already made available during our winter time. And so those enhanced code blue operations were implemented on a limited scale and will continue tonight because we're not out of this yet, given the ongoing snow response through at least Wednesday morning. Those sites will remain open 24/7 through the end of the current code blue. Two things to keep in mind. If you're looking for information, you want to inform somebody, or you see somebody in need. First, our map is live. We don't always talk about which site is open because it remains dynamic depending on conditions, depending on facility needs. And so www.phila.gov/getwarm. Whatever is on that website is what's activated with ours. It includes not only city sites, but a lot of our immense partners who do this work as well. Or if you see somebody who's on the street and in need, you can call 215-232-1984. So those, by and large, have been the two needs out of this storm that we continue to respond to. As I transition to close my remarks, I want to remind folks there are still some hazards. Please stay off those roads, and by and large, people are. And you can see, if you have to be out there like us, we're starting to actually see blacktop across the city. And that is, one, because of the incredible teams here, but it's two, because you are giving us the opportunity to get out and to do it curb to curb and everywhere in between. So please continue to stay off the roads. Was able to get out and shovel a little bit this morning early. It is heavy. It is wet. A lot of snow blowers getting clogged. So shovel safely, snow blow safely. Never put your arm or any extremity or anything into a running snow blower. We're seeing a lot of clogs. It's not something to investigate until that is completely shut off. So we're not coming out in an emergency medical fashion. So shovel safely. And the last hazard to keep in mind are those trees and limbs. Again, they're still heavy. There's still an opportunity, especially if the wind gives them a little bit of a knock, that they could come down. So those are something to keep in mind while you're out. But if you do see any of those things, especially if you see wires in them, you have to assume those are live power lines. You are not safe driving over those. You are not safe touching those. You can call PECO's emergency line. You can call Parks and Recreation's emergency line. You can call 911. Any of those numbers will get you to the right folks, will get you a response. And we have almost as many phone numbers as we did inches of snow. And so I'll close out with this. Official ways to get the information.
Thank you.
www.phila.gov. There is a banner. It has every possible update as far as current city status and links for all of the phone numbers, all of the other resources, the maps that are out there. Also, sign up for those text messages, texting the word READYPHILA to 888-777. Last night, as service disruptions continued to evolve, we have staff sitting in the Emergency Operations Center. They hear it, they verify it, they send that text message out within minutes. Finally, I'd like to turn it over to one of the true hero departments, Commissioner Slauson with Parks and Recreation.
Oh, good afternoon, Madam Mayor, and here we are with another weather challenge. A weather challenge, something we have no control over. But what we do have control of is the response that the City of Philadelphia has been able to do and you're able to see. And Madam Mayor, I just want to say thank you for your consistency, notifying the citizens of Philadelphia of what we're doing, your transparency. And I must say, as I looked at that map, Director Williams, it is about transparency. But I need you all to know, too, it's about the mayor holding us accountable. It's not just about and it's accountable so that we meet the needs of the citizens of Philadelphia. So, Madam Mayor, thank you so much for that. And as the city faces the second major storm, I also want to acknowledge that everybody that's standing up here, we feel the same thing you feel. We live in this city. Our neighbors, our family members, our co-workers, our staff, we are getting through this with you. You're not alone in this. We're shoveling out to get to places too, and we're following the directions. Director Williams, we're following your directions, and Managing Director, we're following your directions to do that. This is truly what it is, Mayor. Your vision for One Philly, that's what you see here, One Philly, and that's why we're able to do what we're doing. And Madam Mayor, all of us standing here are committed. We're committed to your vision. We're committed to One Philly. And this emergency effort, I don't want to say we're getting used to it, but I can say we're getting good at it. Yeah. Okay? We're getting good at it. So Philadelphia Parks and Recreation, my teams, they're mobilized to support the citywide snow removal, the warming center operations, the site cleanup throughout the city, and tree emergencies. Madam Mayor, you do this, and the gentleman that cleaned up and shoveled all around here today is here, Malachi. Come on, stick your head over here, buddy. Come on over here, Malachi, because these are the people that are shoveling, that are using their backs, that are making sure our walkways are clear. And so I just wanted to acknowledge him because he shoveled all the way around here to make sure we could get here. Malachi, thank you. Appreciate it. He was talking about he was young and he had a strong back.
Don't leave. Stand
Yeah,
right
stand
here.
right
Stand
here.
right here.
Stand right here.
Everybody want to
Yeah, he said I'm young. I got a strong back. It's okay. You better put something on that strong back. And so let's talk about the down trees. The storm and this was about an hour ago, this number may have gone up because they're dropping quick. 87 trees across the city. The question is, what are we doing about it? We have 4 certified arborists that are actively inspecting reports of fallen trees to determine priority for clearance. Everything is not a priority. I want to say that again. Everything is not a priority. We have called in emergency contractors to work along with our arborists to assist, and we're getting the additional support we need to respond safely and quickly. You've heard this over and over. Philly, we need your patience. Some tree emergencies involve live wires and need coordination with utility partners or sit on private property. Safety must come first. This storm will have a lasting impact on our tree canopy. Heavy snow load stresses branches, root systems, and we may have additional damage in days and weeks and months to come. We 2 months from now, you all are not going to think about the trees. We will be, because this moisture, this snow, is going to continue to affect. So early on in the spring, we may continue to see trees come down. And it's a direct result of all the snow the storms that we've had, all the moisture. And we will continue to address and make sure those immediate hazards are dealt with. But be mindful, these are longer-term implications, and we'll continue to monitor them safely. Report a downed tree. How do you do that? If a tree falls during a storm and is blocking a road, or if it has fallen on a house, a car, or property, please call 911. Period. Call 911 immediately. A crew of arborists from Philadelphia Parks and Recreation is on call to respond to tree emergencies as well. They will come out to remove the hazard and any part of the tree that is an immediate risk to public safety. Other parts of the tree that don't pose an immediate risk, such as tree trunks, they don't pose an immediate risk. Stumps will be removed later, so our crews can focus on other safety hazards around the city during the extreme weather event. If a tree has fallen on an electrical wire, call PECO's emergency line. It's 800-841-4141. Again, that's 800-841-4141. For non-emergencies, such as maintenance for a tree that is not blocking a road or near a house, we need you to submit a 311 request. A non-emergency goes to 311. Our teams are clearing and treating sidewalks and walkways. We have 150 recreation centers and facilities across the city. We're also addressing snow removal, playgrounds, citywide, Martin Luther King Drive, all the drive, that's our responsibility as well. Love Park, Rittenhouse Square Park, those are parks and recreation. So we're asking for patience because we're a part of what's priority to the mayor are the streets. So we're going to get to these, so don't think that we're not doing anything. We have to get these streets first. We will get to the rec centers. We will get to the drive. We will get to those locations. What we're trying to do is make sure that you can get out of your blocks, that the roadways are clear, that you can walk off your street and it's not blocked. And so know that we're going to get to this. We need your patience. Warming centers. We were able to open up Samuel Recreation Center last night, and Palbino will be opening today. Madam Mayor, I need to thank Sue Buck. Where is she? Sue, where are you? Yes. Deputy Commissioner Rob Jackson, who made sure these warming centers were open on the spot last night. Sue Buck for making sure we have the numbers that we need to support this snow removal out there on the streets. You always say, you might see my face, but there's somebody that's out there actually doing the work. So I want to say publicly thank you so much to both of you for your hard work. So we're ensuring that our sites remain safe and accessible and fully staffed for our neighbors that are in need most. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for your hard work and holding us accountable.
Now we're going to hear from our General Manager of SEPTA, Scott Sauer. And Scott, amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I appreciate it, as always. So SEPTA remains focused on recovery effort because we know that people have to get back to work, they got to get back to school, and other appointments that they have to travel. So the good news is we were able to keep our L and B open. They were the workhorse lines. They were operational throughout the duration of the storm as they were last time. We kept those essential trips moving. As of this moment, we've reopened our Center City Trolley Tunnel, so we've been able to restore that service. We restored service on over 20 of our bus routes, and we're committed to continuing working around the clock to restore all the remaining routes. As I said before, hand in hand with the streets department. As the streets get clear, we can run our buses. Regional rail service remains suspended, although we have inspection trains and inspectors along the lines now looking for any hazards. We're hoping to have some regional rail service restored later this afternoon, but I would caution we will not be on a regular schedule, so make sure you check our app for service updates. Access Paratransit, it will be restored at 3 p.m. We're confirming trips now with customers. We have an advantage with Access in that we know who our customers are. They are pre-registered. We also urge those customers to make sure they have curbs and sidewalks clear. It is a door-to-door operation, so we need a way to board safely. SEPTA has nearly 300 regional rail and metro stations, most with variety of platforms and infrastructure, stairs, walkways. So we are working to clear those in the best effort possible. We have both contractor staff and in-house forces working to clear. We have more than 700 personnel working now to respond, as well as our street transportation managers who are working with the streets department to inspect roadways to get our buses back in service. We have crews positioned throughout the 5-county service area. They're responding to down trees of our own, which also impact wires on our regional rail network and trolley networks. More than 30 track inspectors inspecting our infrastructure. All of our heavy equipment was out there as well, all of our augers and snow blowers, specialized trains to clear the system. We've also utilized many, many tons of rock salt to get and treat all of our areas. And as we clear each station, because, Madam Mayor, imitation is the finest form of flattery, I took a page out of your book, and we now have a website that customers can go and check which stations have been treated and when they've been treated. And we will refine that as we go, because we did not have ours ready to go for the storm. But we did stand one up nonetheless, and riders can look on our alerts page to find that information. We've extended our customer service hours today with agents available until 7 p.m. Customers can call 215-580-7800 to find out what services are running and when. By being proactive and using all of our available resources, we've been able to stay ahead of the storm. We've pre-treated services, we've had our command center activated, we've made service adjustments, and now it's back to restoration, but all the while keeping an eye on safety for both our customers and our employees. So I do want to take a moment to call out those employees. As the city has done with their own, we have employees and contractors that have been working tirelessly planning for this event, making sure our equipment was ready, and then fighting throughout the duration of the storm. So I want to make sure to call out all of the track inspectors and cleaners and operators who really did yeoman's work to keep our service running. And with that, Madam Mayor, I want to thank you, and I want to thank all your leaders here. They have been great for SEPTA to work with, and hopefully this will be the last one of the season, but we'll see.
Scott, I'm with you on that, but I did this when we came out, and we looked at the forecast after hearing the briefing from Deputy Managing Director Dom and listening to Director Williams. Philadelphia, we also need to say thank you to Mother Nature. Because what we don't have now that we did have previously, those sub-zero temperatures. And so let's just hope, Don, when we're looking, we're seeing good numbers, you know, in the days to come. So we're very grateful for that. Now we want to just make sure we take any questions that you may have. Any questions? Yes.
You were just listening in to Mayor Cherelle Parker, the news conference on this winter storm, the biggest snowstorm we have had in a decade. They have mobilized 1,000 trucks, personnel out on the roads. They say the fewer people who are on the roads, the more efficient they can do their job. As for the schools, a lot of people wondering about that. Yeah. They say it's too early to know whether or not schools will be open, and that heavy, wet snow, of course, contributing to those power outages.